Well, we do have that new fire truck that was thanks to
Yeah.
Shirley Henry when she was mayor.
Yeah.
And we did get a new fire truck and we paid $210,000 for it. Just a beautiful truck. I designed the whole thing and sent it down to the builders and they built it for us.
You had these two services and what we didn't really appreciate, you know, the extent to which this whole fire department and the ambulance service was organized until the flood of '84. And when that happened, that was a pretty drastic event for this community. And it turned out that your fire department and your leadership were so important to sort of the emergency response to that event. Could you sort of describe that for us? Because that was had to be a highlight, even though it was a very, very difficult time for everybody.
Well, it's the biggest disaster I ever got involved in, and I spent 6 nights at the fire hall without any sleep, working day and night. And when I finally went to sleep, it was under the pool table in the fire hall. You know, because I couldn't get home. There was still water everywhere. But it was Meager Mountain again, and it had fallen down, and there was a lake up there loaded with water, and all the water came down. And a block, no, right here, right out here we had water. That was 6 feet deep at the drive-in.
Oddly enough, Milt, something that comes into that is that the road acted like a dike, and there was no water in Signal Hill School.
Well, that's right, yeah, I remember that.
Well,
but the high school was wiped out
at that time. But there was no water because the road acted like a dike.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, anyway, that was a hell of a mess, and I had incorporated search and rescue into the fire department with the plan of down the road separating it, because I didn't want all my manpower out on a mountain somewhere while I got a 3-alarm fire going in Pemberton. And we hadn't quite got to that point, and then Shirley Henry, when she was mayor, decided that I was going to be the emergency coordinator. Well, I had written a village plan, and I had just finished written it a week before the flood. And I was still issuing copies to the different people that were taking parts in the flood. And it worked out very well, but there's a few things I'd forgotten about. And it sure screwed me up. People that were evacuating were bringing all their animals to fire. Now, I had llamas, I had donkeys, I had cows, I had horses, I had cats, dogs, chickens, and they're all in the fire hall. And I tell you, that creates a lot of dung. Oh, it was unreal. And then we had different things went on that just weren't copacetic, but it worked. We had one of my captains called in that he had a bull up on the mountain jammed in between the tree and the mountain, and he was giving birth. This time I was groggy and didn't understand what was going on. All he knew was that he needed the rescue vehicle and 100 feet of rope. So I sent it to him. These guys are plowing in water 4 feet deep, but they made it and they got the bull out. And I said, after a while I woke up and I said, Tom, how are you making out with that bull? Got her down. I said, since when do they have calves? Oh, he said, I was just kidding. I said, I thought you were serious. And it kind of, you know, it jars you, these weird things happening. And we ended up with the record for the most helicopter usage of any disaster in BC. Wasn't that it? And we had helicopters all over the place. I had one for my captain, one for my deputy chief, a couple for the firefighters, a couple for the rescue guys. We all had helicopters, and the government was paying the bill, so we were quite happy about it. Unbelievable what was going on with that flood. Like, all the houses were just loaded with water. Everything was being thrown out. fridges were going, Chesterfields were out in the front lawn, and hay was starting to catch fire. And Shirley contacted the military, and they sent up the military, 100 and some odd guys, I think it was here. Yeah, to work on the barn fires, because we didn't have time. We were too busy doing our other things. And we had no police, so we had to act as police too, to keep the looters out, and there were looters here. Yeah. And the police were all up at Blackwater. They had a boat accident where 3 guys drowned. Yeah, and they're sitting on the shore with these 3 bodies, didn't know what to do with them. They couldn't get a helicopter, so I had to send them one of mine. So we finally got them out of here. So, oh yeah, that was a real mess.